Bill Gates just shocked everyone.
There are so many things that happened during COVID that we moved on from way too quickly.
We're going to see a war probably in 2026, man.
Hey, Segovia, back with another one. Hope everyone out there is having a good day and had a very Merry Christmas and having some great holidays, y'all. It was a good day yesterday with the family, y'all. So we got a good one coming up today, an hour banger for you guys, right? We got, remember that dude that was building that ark? He just came up on a nice vehicle. We got some Michael Jackson. We got a lot coming up in today's episode, y'all. Before we get into it, make sure you guys watch from start to finish. That really helps the channel grow, y'all. But with that being said, let's do what we all came here for. Let's get into it. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
The FBI raided Michael Jackson's house and found zero evidence.
What's their conviction rate?
98%.
They didn't win.
So you think the feds are going to waste their time to go into Michael Jackson's house only to find nothing? They could have planted something. That means you had zero evidence to go off of. If there's something to go off of to like, oh, maybe nothing. So the fact that they went into his house and found nothing, and this picture that with him and Epstein makes even more sense because my theory is now true. I said the second case that Michael Jackson was in.
Damn, you did say that. Go ahead.
Guess what was happening at the same time? Jeffrey Epstein's case.
Facts.
At the same time, who was a real trafficker. Deflection.
Major
So you don't think that meeting has any significance at all?
It absolutely does.
Because it was smoke and mirrors. Nobody knew who Jeffrey Epstein was back then.
People barely knew him 5 years ago.
But the fact that the first time Michael Jackson gets hit with a case, then we find out they're lying and they extorted him. That gets thrown out. Then years later, all of a sudden, the case comes back up again. And then Jeffrey Epstein is in court the same time.
Again.
And now we're showing that he actually knew him.
I can't.
That's an easy layup.
You can't make this shit up.
That makes even more sense.
That makes even more sense.
Does, though.
Yeah, it makes more sense.
Yeah. It makes even more sense now because it's all smoke and mirrors. Because if the most famous man is in court, are we paying attention to anybody else?
Right.
No.
Look over here. Look over here. That's
Just
all
saying.
that is. That's crazy.
That's actually crazy. And how hard was it to get around Michael Jackson when you were around Trump already? Trump was hot around the same time that Michael was hot.
Yeah.
It's how hard is it to take a picture? Everybody wanted a picture with Mike.
Right.
How many people have pictures with Mike?
And not only that,
A lot.
but he was also doing a lot of dealing. So he probably got a call like, hey, you need to link up with this Epstein guy. He got a lot of bread.
Okay, I'll meet him.
I'll meet him. He might invest in my thing. He's probably just a financier. He's not knowing what he's doing.
That's
Right?
crazy.
They know he got jets and boats and islands. He like, oh, okay, let me go see what's up. He might invest in my next album. Who knows?
Exactly.
And here's the thing. Why is Michael dead now? If he's part of all this, you think they're just going to off somebody that's part of the program?
Well, we know why. He owned the Beatles. He owned Sony.
Yeah.
And Tommy Mottola. He told you that Tommy was the devil way back then.
Exactly.
So
Devil can't have you knowing, who he is, where he is.
yeah, he was mad that he went to Japan he went around Sony here and went and got
And bought it cash.
and bought it.
$85 million cash.
Oh, they were mad at that.
He was like, you know what? Cool. I'll be right back. Goes over there.
Hold that thought.
Here you go. Yeah. Comes back. Wait, hold on. Michael Joseph. What?
Watch your ass. Walk
Yeah.
that ass. Right?
Yeah,
in front of you.
take that.
Like-
no Diddy.
Everybody's fired. Get the fuck out.
Why is this picture in the Epstein files? Michael Jackson was innocent. This is actually some dirty work. So the internet found the original picture. It's actually on Getty Images, the website itself, and just read this description. Michael Jackson, his children, Michael Joseph Jackson Jr. and Paris Michael Catherine Jackson, are photographed with President Bill Clinton, Diana Ross, and her son Evan Ross in Washington, D.C. on December 19th, 2003. It was his own damn kid, so why are they making it seem like he was part of the Epstein files and they had to redact these children who were maybe allegedly...
Hold on, that picture right there looks fake. Look at the two kids on the bottom. See, that looks fake to me. I don't know, y'all. What do you guys think?
victims. And shout out to Jessica at J Bunzy. She posted the same thing, and Michael Jackson's ex-alleged security guard commented on it and said, "I was his bodyguard when the picture with Epstein would have been taken. We were just viewing houses as Michael wanted to live on Palm Beach so he can be close with his friend Barry Gibb. A real estate agent set up the viewings over the course of the week. We never even knew who Epstein was. He wasn't even famous then. He, like the other house owners we viewed that week, wanted a picture with Michael. I was there with another bodyguard and Michael's then doctor. That's it in 2003. And that date matches with the Getty Images description. Epstein's house was for sale, so it was one of many lined up to view. Michael never had a clue who he was or the property owners we met. Michael would have always been polite to everyone he meets. It was making big news at the time. We looked at the houses on Palm Beach, so I'm surprised the truth isn't being told. Michael was recording daily with Barry Gibb back then. This was in 2003. Thanks for fighting for the truth. So breaking news, context matters, and I know a lot of people didn't trust this because the majority is redacted, but now here's another reason to question everything.
With that one boy.
Now listen to this. I have to tell you this.
Okay.
So after I left the party, and the next day I smoked with Michael, and then I get in the limousine, I leave. I get back to the Sheraton Hotel at Universal over here. There's 4 FBI agents waiting for me in the hotel room. And my mom's there, and she's like, tell them what happened. And I'm like, what do you mean tell them what happened? And I sit down with them, and they all ask these super sexually exploited, questions, back-sided questions. And I knew that at my age already. And I looked at all 4 of them, and I said, are y'all crazy? I said, what you think I'm going to do? Tell you that Michael did something bad so that we can sue him for money? That's what I told him. I was like, and I looked over at my mom, and I was like, are you serious, Mom? I was like, what is going on here? Why are you letting this happen? And she goes, well, I think something happened. I think something. I'm like, really? That man did nothing but be hospitable, kind, loving, giving, everything you can think of. We rode 4-wheelers, 5 hours, me, him, and Chris Tucker in the mountains at nighttime after his birthday party. Him and I hung out and talked pretty much all night.
When I got told,
I mean, to say that Epstein wasn't famous back then, like, he wasn't famous because, some people that are like a P. Diddy that was doing what he was doing, he wanted to be famous. He wanted to be in the limelight. He wanted to be in the videos. Most of the real ones, they don't want no one to know who they are. That's why we didn't know who he was. Everyone in Hollywood in that business, they knew who he was though, right? They knew who he was. The public wasn't supposed to know what he was. This got exposed. When it was time for it, when the machine was done with them, they exposed it, right? So for the bodyguard to come out and say like he wasn't famous back then, Michael didn't know who he was, like, yeah, he was, y'all. Yeah, he was. They know who he was.
Wasn't real. I made a mental acknowledgement that literally the entire Matrix lied to me.
Right.
Every single adult, every grocery store, every commercial, the TVs, the radio, it was all a lie.
Yep.
And then that is really what sparked my question everything.
And then the actual image of Santa Claus pushed by Coca-Cola.
Yeah, in the 1930s, they took the colors of the shamans in Siberia that would ingest Amanita muscaria mushrooms and then go and bring back gifts from the spirit realm and go down the chimney because there was so much snow that the only way to get in the house was through the chimney. And they would bring food and gifts and then bring esoteric knowledge from the spirit realm to each individual family.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying? So like, it just goes deep, but really Santa Claus really was the pinpoint where I guess was the very first red pill I ever took. And I acknowledged that every human lied to me.
Damn.
Something weird is going on. They're talking about canceling events on New Year's Eve, and they're blaming it, and I'm talking all around the world, and they're blaming it on potential threats. I'm sorry, what? We live that daily. We live in a potential threat every day. What is so weird about this New Year's Eve? I've never heard of this happening. And before Christmas, it's not even Christmas. What is going on? What do they know? What are they not telling us? See, because normally when they say things like this, they're the ones involved in the threat. Do you know what I'm saying? Everything is a psyop, in my opinion, at this point. Now, I'm not saying everything's canceled, obviously, but I keep hearing major events are being canceled for New Year's Eve. What do they know? What do they know that we don't know? It's always something, It's always something.
Have y'all seen this shit, y'all? Talk about predictive programming, y'all. So they can keep putting the truth in our face and they can keep calling it art. But this right here is literally a blueprint for the Matrix to come. Take a look at this. Now, if you look closer, you think it's a map of the countries, right? Or of the world. but it's like a control map. Y'all see this, right? You got drones, rockets, satellites, tanks, right? It's like warfare all around us, right? Look at the people distracted. Look at Donald Trump. You see, are they telling us like this is like a video game, right? You don't know what's real or what's reality or not. And then in the middle over here, you have a cake with 250 in it, because 2026 is America's 250-year timeline cycle of being an empire. So this is this telling us like this empire is coming to an end? It's going to be all out warfare around this? Because you see the colors red and blue, right? Red, white, and blue represent America. And not just America, but this is also the colors of emergency as well too. Like when the cops get behind you, this is the colors that you see. And then you see pills, DNA, syringes, right? Biological warfare. But check this out, right? It's a guy kicking like a soccer ball, football. Like, are they telling us this is the goal? Like this is war, digital warfare, spatial warfare. Is this the goal? Are they telling us? I don't know, man, but you know how they say a picture is worth 1,000 words, or it could be us distracted while all of this is going on. Kind of like what's happening right now, right? There's so much going on, but the Epstein files are the topic of discussion. To me, this cover isn't predicting the future. This is announcing an agenda. Remember, they told us about Agenda 2025 and Project 2030. They just changed the names. But there is a big shift coming to America. Do you guys see the money sign, right? And even like the graph sign, the graph is going down. Look at this. We all know crypto is going down right now. So something big is coming to America. I feel like right now everybody is holding their breath and just waiting to release that one button that, you know, that has been holding on. But what do you guys see from here? Let me know down in the comments below, y'all. The shift is here. Like, follow, and share for more videos like this. Let's continue to get it. Peace in.
We're going to see a war probably in 2026, man. I think Israel and Iran are absolutely going to go to war.
Who needs a distraction more than Donald Trump? Who needs a distraction more than President Trump? No one. That's who. Not even Netanyahu. I think Trump needs a distraction more so than Netanyahu. Well, what's a greater distraction than blowing some stuff up?
So he did an interview like a week or two ago, and he said that according to his sources, the reason why Trump bombed Iran is because, and bombed the nuclear facilities, etc., is because Israel threatened to use nuclear weapons if the United States didn't. And that's very scary because this isn't the first time that the Israelis have threatened to do this. And now it makes sense because I remember me and you were pissed off. Remember when we were talking about this conflict and saying like, what the fuck is going on? Why is he going to war? We said no new wars. Like the whole base was pissed. Everybody was like, why are you trying to fight with Iran? This is bullshit. Now it makes sense because then Trump goes on and says, I stopped World War III. None of us knew what the fuck he meant. But what he really meant was, I bombed these nuclear facilities to prevent Israel from using a nuclear bomb. Because on top of that, their interceptors were going down. They tell Trump, we need a ceasefire. If you don't fucking broker this ceasefire, we're going to nuke them. Trump putting in a bad spot with his base, pressured. All right, I'm going to use a nuclear bomb. I'm going to bomb their facilities and then end this war. And now it makes sense why he did what he did based on what John Kirikow said.
Yeah. And let's add a little more color to that, too. Trump came out in 2023, I believe, during a TV interview, and he basically said, we did a head fake in Syria. He said in 2017 and 18, we did a head fake in Syria. I think he did the same thing with Iran. I think he called up Iran and he said, look, guys, I'm coming. All right, I'm coming. You have 12 hours. Okay, we're dropping a bomb on this facility. You know it's coming. You're going to let our people fly in. You're going to let us bomb this facility. This is the path of least resistance because Israel is going to hit you with a nuke, and there's nothing I can do to stop it. So you're going to let our boys fly in. You're going to let us bomb this facility. You got 12 hours to get your shit out of there, and we're dropping the bomb, and we're going to come out, and we're going to declare victory. And remember, after that, Netanyahu was like, oh, they didn't really hit it. And Trump was like emphatically like, we destroyed it. Stop it. It's over. Stop. Just stop it. We blew it up. It was like, please don't. And Netanyahu was like, oh, you barely damaged it.
And I also like the fact that you mentioned, you know, you wouldn't be surprised if Trump didn't notify the Iranians that they were going to hit him. Because I'll tell you this, they came in at night, they bombed the facilities, and that's it. When the United States bombed Iran, I don't think there were any casualties. They literally got in, bombed the facilities, got the hell out. No one died.
So crazy, like right in our video games. Look at that.
Okay, I just found out something completely shocking about turtles. And I honestly think they're trolling us at this point because the natural world doesn't have time. Time doesn't actually exist, right? What the natural world has is rhythm. So time is a measurement of rhythm, but time doesn't exist. Clocks exist. Now, here's the crazy part. Turtles. I thought when I saw this post about lunar calendar on a turtle's back, that it was like some turtles, right? There's 13 carapaces in the middle of their shell, and there's 28 along the edge of their shell, segments of their shell. 13 moons, 28 days on turtle shells. This equals 364 days plus 1 day of rest. All indigenous peoples around the world knew the wisdom of the turtle and followed a 13-month calendar, as there are 13 moon cycles in a year and 27 to 29 days per cycle. It appears that 1 month was subtracted in order to sever the connection between people with the sun, the moon, and the stars, which are themselves a giant clock. But what I found out was it's every single turtle and tortoise. Sea turtles, the same thing, a giant clock on their backs. So we're talking about the Fibonacci sequence is in the turtles, of course, as it is in all biological life forms. But the calendar is also on every single turtle's back. And you may be thinking, well, why would they change the calendar? Well, yes, to sever the connection, to alter our perception, our vibration, our reality just a little bit more. Another thing we have never been told about in school. Isn't that interesting? Instead, we're hearing about Pythagorean theorem and carbon emissions, and they don't tell us anything about this natural world. Shocking. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below and follow for more.
There are so many things that happened during COVID that we moved on from way too quickly. Remember when we kept seeing videos of people glitching real time and literally standing in place for minutes?
I remember this. Remember this, y'all? This is where it all started for me.
Wait, she's not moving at all.
That's what I'm saying. What is going on?
And after a few minutes of her just standing there motionless, people started walking over because they were concerned. It didn't make sense why she wasn't moving.
Oh, is no one seeing this? What is going on? Look, even
that's crazy.
No, she's looking. Look.
2020, y'all remember that?
And there were multiple angles of this video of the woman literally not moving. Nothing about her was moving. Nothing about her was spasming. She just glitched. And I saw other videos of this. Do you guys remember seeing this? Because there are a bunch of other things I keep asking if people remember from COVID, and people aren't remembering anything, and we're not able to find videos anymore. I low-key feel like COVID was a fever dream that majority of people don't remember.
The whole op is a linguistic op. There's a particular sacrifice in Greece, and it was an animal sacrifice, and there's all these aspects to it. You would do an invocation, you do an ablution, then you actually sacrifice an animal. The begins with an invocation. The invocation was event 201. Next thing was the ablution. What's the first thing you heard? Wash your hands. But it wasn't like wash your hands with pure water. You're washing your hands with Purell, which is actually this chemical crap that makes you sicker. The next stage, the processional. The procession, you would bring the sacrificial animal through the streets. What were we told to do? Well, we can't go outside. We were locked down. The sacrifice itself is the death of George Floyd. In Greece, you would take the best animal and you would garland it and dress it and what have you before you elevated up to a sacrifice for the divine. George Floyd, of course, he was a criminal. So what did they do? They dressed him up into this superhero later and gave him angelic wings and, everything like that. So that's how this sacrifice, which was this thing that held the culture together, was inverted and then turned into the thing to rip the culture apart.
Y'all remember 2020? Like, that whole George Floyd thing created chaos in the streets of America. People were burning down towns, burning them. LA, where else? Chicago, running in stores and looting. And do you guys remember that chaos? I remember driving home, and I used to work for LabCorp as a courier, y'all. So I would be picking up all these COVID tests, thousands and thousands of COVID tests in my coolers. Driving home at midnight, and the National Guard's out there stopping everybody. What are you doing out? Like, these were crazy times we were living in, and people just forget. Like, don't even remember it. Like, that's how quick life moves on. But 2020 was so crazy, y'all. Like, there's chaos in the streets. Chaos in the streets. Not too long ago.
What's the worst thing you ever did in the CIA?
We created a germ
Why is
in a
it so
lab and
hard?
blew it into the atmosphere in San Francisco just to see if anybody would get sick. And lots of people got sick. 11 of them were sick enough to need hospitalization. And it turned out that they all suffered from the same rare respiratory infection. And the doctors are like, where the heck did this come from? Well, the CIA had it in a big tube and they were it into the fog. And they did it in San Francisco because the fog is heavy. And they knew that the fog would keep the germ close to the ground where people are breathing it in. And then the CIA said, we should hire a whole bunch of prostitutes and rent a cat house and get these prostitutes to bring Johns back to the cat house. And then we dose them with LSD and see if we can control their minds. These are American citizens. You can't just dose somebody with LSD. Ooh, let's see. Is he going to go crazy? Is he going to himself? Is he going to confess his deepest, darkest secrets? What the f***'s wrong with people?
Did y'all hear that the creator of Call of Duty crashed his Ferrari in California and he died on impact, y'all? Check this out.
Fog, man! Fog! Oh, shit! Fog, man!
First of all, look at the road. Why is the road in California like this? It looked like they were practicing, right? And then the fact that the matter is, every single one of them was out of their car recording this incident. How did they know that he was going to crash? How do they know? Check this out, y'all.
Vince Zampella, the founder of Call of Duty, died in a car accident. Eerily, someone had depicted his death in a video game a year earlier. The accident occurred on the Angeles Crest Highway, a dangerous mountain road north of Los Angeles, known for its high-speed driving.
Y'all, it's the same color car. It's the same color car. How in the world do you predict that this man is going to die in the same color car a year prior this happens in California?
Is that a year earlier, a player saw a scene in a video game that was almost identical. A car speeding and rolling down a winding mountain road, crashing into a guardrail. Even the color and model of the car were the same as the supercar involved in the accident.
The model of the car was the same as well, y'all? Come on, man. You guys know how Hollywood is, man. You guys know how these actors are. So did Vince Zampella really die, or was he just playing his script? Was he just playing his part? Shakespeare tells us that the world is a stage and all the men and women are merely players. They have their exits and their entrances. You guys do remember that there is an island that all the quote deceased celebrities are at. Oh shit.
I heard
What if it's
underground.
Epstein
I
Island?
heard underground.
What if all the quote unquote dead celebrities are hiding at Epstein Island? So what do you guys make of this? I truly don't believe it. The fact that all those people were out there recording the moment that he crashed his car, nah, man. I truly believe he was playing a script and he wasn't even in there, y'all. You know how Hollywood is. It's all smoke and mirrors. But what do you guys think about this? The shift is here, y'all. Let's get it. Peace.
So this is called the Mother's Call statue in Russia.
This is the Motherland Call statue in Russia.
Crazy.
Allegedly, it was built between 1963 and 1967 to memorialize or remember the fallen Russian soldiers in the Battle of Stalingrad in World War II. Now, I don't think we actually built this, or they built it in 1963. I think this statue is a remnant of the Tartarian civilization that they don't teach about in the history books. So look at this statue. This right here is an Attack on Titan size statue. Look at this lady. And this is constructed out of concrete. According to the fake information on Wikipedia, the way they built this was they created a metal cast from scratch, the same shape and size of the statue, and they poured concrete into the cast to make this perfect statue back in 1963. And they're saying that this statue is 290 feet tall. Look at the size of this lady.
How is this done?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out why this is the first time I've heard about this.
And you know what's interesting about this? You would think if this should be one of the pride and joys of Russia. You would think in 1963 we had cameras, we had pictures, we had video cameras. The statue's already built, but they got this picture of a scaffolding, but it's already built.
Another construction photo, acting like they're building stuff. They're not building jack squat. They're not building nothing.
This is so recent. There is no reason why we shouldn't have any evidence. We got nothing. We got this.
All right, so check this out. This base dude infiltrates the Somali scam center. He just walks into a small storefront and asks basic questions. But pay attention to the shelves. Pay attention to the answers, because what looks like a normal business starts falling apart in seconds. No inventory, no clear services. No explanation. This is not a prank. This is not edited for drama. This is what happens when someone walks into a place that exists on paper more than in reality. Watch closely, because every detail matters, y'all. Check this out.
I think I'm scared, but I'm straight up walking into every one of their stores.
Oh, Lord. Here we go.
How's it going? You guys do money transfers?
Do what?
You do money transfers?
No.
It says that on the door.
Yes, it is. But, not right now.
Not right now?
Not right
Like
now.
an EBT thing or what?
Yeah.
Oh.
That will be, yes.
Yeah, goats? Whole goat. I want a whole goat.
No, I don't.
All right. Hey, when's your birthday, by the way?
What?
I want to come back and give you a birthday present. It's on the 1st, ain't it?
Yeah.
1-1?
Oh, yeah. The Somalians have it figured out in Columbus. I went to the Walmart on Georgesville to see if I could see people filling their carts or just kind of see what I could see. It's not the way they do it. They've got it figured out way better than that. Every single Somali restaurant has a grocery store right next door or within eyeshot of the restaurant. The specific one I went into today had it attached to the restaurant. And wow, what an adventure that was.
Why do you think this fraud was allowed to get so widespread?
Right.
I want to say, this also has an impact on Somalis because we are also taxpayers in Minnesota. We also
okay, Ilhan,
from the program and the money that was stolen, and so it's been really frustrating for people to not acknowledge the fact that we're also as Minnesotans, as taxpayers, really upset and angry about the
you seem like
I don't want to say the number, it's countless numbers. Every night I get an update on this of the threats to our federal money on everything we do. Because look, right now it's very clear. The entire federal government is weaponized against Minnesota. And
excuse me? God, Tim Walz is an idiot.
And the issues of things that should be states' rights, states to control, they're threatening us with this. And this is what happens when you have a floundering presidency, and it is about those ballrooms and everything else. Now we're back on transgender folks, and these are healthcare providers providing the best guidance to parents and children to get their care. So we're assessing what it means. It's on every front. It's CDLs, it's transportation money, it's money across the board that they have weaponized.
So there you have it, y'all. This video did not create a scandal. It exposed one. When regular people start finding things regulators missed, trust collapse. If these programs exist to help families, fraud drains them dry. And when politicians call scrutiny hateful instead of answering the questions, suspicion grows. No one needed leaked documents or insider access, just a camera, a question, and a walk through the front door. That is why this clip hit a nerve and why people are not done watching. Y'all like the video right there? Follow for more. Let me know what you think.
So Ed, I'm confused. I'm not following this. I don't really know what's going on. Are they buying these products with like government like EBT type things and then going like opening a store and reselling things to get cash? Is that what they're doing? So, they're getting free money? Let me know down below. I'm confused. But it's so annoying that like we saw on the previous video that I'd posted, half of the world is protesting their governments. They're making governments flee the country. And we're not. You just saw what Mr. Tim Walz went up there and said. Division. Keep us divided, right? Keeping us divided. That's why we should be the one country. I don't know what goes on in other places, taxes, healthcare and all that, but we're pretty damn bad, y'all. We're pretty damn bad. We pay a lot. We pay a lot of our hard-earned money to this government where's this money going? We don't even know. Our streets look like crap. Our public transportation looks like crap. Everything, our infrastructure, everything looks like crap. Where's all this tax-paying dollars that we're paying to going? While these people that are in control of it are living in mansions, driving fancy cars, got bodyguards surrounding them all the time. If you want to go up to them and talk to them and ask them a question, you're not allowed to. The bodyguards shut it down. Like we pay their salaries, y'all, and I'm so sick of it. I'm gonna keep saying this. It's just gonna be a broken record over here. But where is all this money going?
Comments. I'll catch you on the next one.
They're putting it in the flour. This has got to be the most deeply disturbing piece of news
This coffee's
I've read
hitting today.
in a hot minute. They're putting oxycodone in the flour that is being sent in aid to Gaza. Not just pills, they're grinding it up into the flour. This is truly sickening. This is just... How is this not the definition of genocide? So if they don't die first by eating too much of this, It's going to shut down their central nervous system. This can lead to things like coma. This means that they can't run, they can't escape, they can't flee, they can't protect themselves. I've posted the links in the description down here to the news articles. You can go look for yourself. My heart is in pieces for these are fucking innocent children. What do we even do? At what point is there like a line that we don't cross?
There's
They're
nothing you
building
can
towers
do.
in Saudi
Nothing.
Arabia. They're building towers in the UAE. They're building golf.
Real quick, there's nothing we can do unless we come together. I'm sure she's blaming. It looks like she's blaming the Trump, administration. I'm guessing because that's who her little background on her green screen was, right? You know what I'm saying? That's crazy in itself, but that's the problem. You're blaming one side. No, it's both. It's all of them. Until they change their mindset, until everyone changes their mindset and stops blaming one another because this is what they want, nothing's going to change. They're just going to keep getting away with it, and they're getting away playing golf. I'm sure Joe Biden is the one filming this picture right here, filming this shot. You know what I mean? Like it's a game, y'all. It's Hollywood. Politics is Hollywood too.
Courses, residential properties in Qatar. They're building on government property that they bought through Jared Kushner's private equity fund, a government-owned island in Albania. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. Jared Kushner has flat out stated that Gaza is all about a real estate play. It is the best beachfront property in the Mediterranean, and they're going to redevelop Gaza. They're going to get the money from the Saudi royal family. They're going to get it from the Emiratis. They're going to get it from the Qataris. They're going to get it from the Russians, from Blavatnik, from all of these guys. Jared Kushner had the biggest real estate failure in the history of real estate in New York when he bought the 666 building. It had to be bailed out by the Qataris when Trump was president.
An entire city is covered in fiber optic cable, and the reason why is dark. This is the frontline city of Liman in Ukraine, and every single one of these cables represents a drone that is being flown into battle. You see, both Russia and Ukraine have been resorting to these thin, translucent cables because when there is a physical connection between the pilot and the drone, the signal cannot be jammed by the enemy. Fiber optic cables often come in spools of between 10 and 20 kilometers in length, and a Ukrainian spokesperson said that hundreds of Russian and Ukrainian drones fly over this city every day, and each one leaves its mark. Now, most of the time, the drones never come back. They either hit their targets or crash, and then the cable is simply left draped across the terrain, leaving us with a stark reminder just how much modern warfare has changed, and how drones specifically have become an irreplaceable part of that operation.
My father used to say in the 80s that he would turn off shows because every show was beginning to emasculate men. So every show, the man was the idiot, the man was the secondary leader, the man was not a partner. He was just some dumb guy. I think Tim Allen might have been the only one that actually had a show where he was considered a dominant father, and that was removed and had to get put on a different channel.
I systematically reviewed every one of the 100 most popular shows right now. There is one show on American television which depicts a father as reliable, productive, and competent. That one show is Blue Bloods, starring Tom Selleck. It is a unique show because it does portray a father as competent. It is not characteristic. When I do this presentation for parents, I then show Modern Family. Modern Family is a much more typical show where the father is utterly incompetent. The straight dad is always a klutz, a loser, who has no insight into how much of a loser he actually is.
I mean, let's be honest. Nobody's watching cable TV sitcom shows no more. Let's move it a step further and look at these Netflix shows. Let's just say shows I've watched, right? We've got Landman. You see that couple, divorced, dysfunctional. We got, what else am I watching? Tulsa King. I'm watching all these shows and all these, I haven't seen one show, Ozark, where the husband and wife are happily married. Name me one show below, because I don't really watch shows. I just watch it with Mama Bear. If it was up to me, I'd be watching YouTube. People build cabins and all that, live outdoors. So let me know a show down below where the father and wife, the husband and wife, are actually happy. There's no infidelity. There's no, turmoil. It's just, happy. Now, I know all relationships have some turmoil, but I'm saying like the majority of their existence is either infidelity or just hatred towards each other. There's not one show, y'all. That's what they're putting in these young kids' minds because that's who's watching all these Netflix shows nonstop. It's all by design. All by design. Why?
The Gemini 5th.
Why do they want us? Why does America want the American people to be so miserable? And I just don't understand it. I don't understand. Well, I mean, they want to keep their power, right? That's the real meaning. They want the power, they want the money. But I just don't get why they don't want the country people to be the best of the best, like other countries that seem like they do. They do what's good. They feed the children in schools, 5-course meals with fruits, vegetables, whole foods. Like, I don't understand why the powers that be. I think it probably comes down to the pharmaceutical companies. The pharmaceutical companies. They're the ones that run the show, I think. They start them young, addicted to the sugar, to this junk, and they're in a lifetime of hospitals, lifetime of medications, a lifetime of, that's probably what it comes down to. But it's just sad that they don't want what's best for us. They don't.
Teen photo is verifiably fake.
It's Michael Collins purportedly doing a spacewalk, but really it was a training mission where they had him strapped in these harnesses and they just blacked out the background and pretended he was in space. So we know they were lying. We also know, I don't know if you watched my episode with Bart, but Bart has this footage of where they're running images of the Apollo photographs through AI to detect whether or not they've been manipulated.
And Putin is looking at the video and he's like not surprised that checks out as fake.
My friend who was from Russia said that in high school they were teaching that the moon landing was a hoax.
Here are more conspiracy theories that I believe in. This first one is kind of common sense, and I feel like a lot of people know and believe this one. But our phones are 100% listening to us. And I'm pretty sure that they even confirmed this. Why they are listening to us, I don't know, but I just know that they are. Literally every single time I talk about something, I get an ad for it like 5 minutes later. Or literally, this is so weird, but every time I'm going through something, my For You page is just that entire situation. I think that dinosaurs were most likely just big birds. I don't believe that they were those reptile, scary creatures that we thought they were, because there's literally no way of knowing that from their bone structure. But from what I believe, I think that they were just birds, especially since some dinosaurs literally could fly. We were definitely supposed to have 13 months, and each month with 28 days. This one just makes so much more sense than having every single month have different days. Why do we need to have some months with 28, some months with 30, some months with 31? Like, no, we can just have a 13 month with 28 days in each month. And this makes so much sense because menstrual cycles are typically 28 days. I believe that Helen Keller wasn't fully blind or fully deaf. Like, I do believe in the existence of her, and I don't doubt the fact that she was blind and she was deaf. But only 10% of blind people are fully blind, like with no sight at all. And what are the odds that she was one of those people? And on top of that, she was deaf. I think that the most logical explanation was she wasn't fully blind and she was only hard of hearing. And that explains how she wrote books, drove planes, did speeches, and all that other stuff. They're purposely dumbing down the next generation so they're easier to control. That explains a lot, like why did they stop teaching cursive in schools? And literally every famous document and historical document is written in cursive. And with all this technology and AI stuff, it's so much easier for them to manipulate and control us by implementing it in schools, work, everything. That's all I have for now. If you guys have any more you guys want me to talk about, or if you want me to do a part 3, please let me know in the comments. Bye.
But this one guy, he did something like acid or something like that, right? And it changed him forever. And he dressed different, like he dressed professional all the time. But what you gotta understand,
Change it for better?
I don't know. No, he was quiet. He was weird. No, he was a weirdo. But this is the thing. He dressed like an old man. But what you gotta understand, this was back in the fucking 80s, right? Nobody was dressing like this guy at his age in this neighborhood. Everybody was hood, like street. And this motherfucker wearing like a suit and tie in the summertime, dressed like an old man with the little. He would say weird shit to you. He would come up to me, and I asked about him. I'm like, "What's wrong with him?" And they said like, one time he did it at a party, and he had a bad trip, and he hasn't came out of that trip yet.
Why did they put? See, that's one thing that these famous, Joe Rogans and these people that come on here and talk about, yeah, I popped acid and I saw the little elves and it was amazing. And when you're getting paranoid on weed, you need to look at your life, and it's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. Well, coming from a man that hasn't smoked weed until he was like 35, you know what I mean? Like, that's the one thing they don't say is be careful. Because most of these people doing these acids and marijuana and pills, and they're not 35 years old, right? Most of these, and if they are, that it's a problem. It's a big problem. Maybe not marijuana, but like pills and acid and all that, it's a problem, right? Because most 35-year-olds, aren't like Joe Rogan that are millionaires that have all day to smoke weed and do all that, right? They're all young. They're all young. And some people don't come out of that. I'm so blessed I came out of that. I don't know how. I was terrible, y'all. I was in a terrible situation when I was 17 going on 18. Terrible. I was damn near ready to off myself. Very close. I was in a bad situation at that age because of it was just marijuana. Thank God I didn't do nothing else. I was around all that other stuff, but I just had I just wasn't interested in doing the white stuff or popping those things. I was around it. I was in the same room as it. I just drank. That I just was never into that. But thankfully, because I probably wouldn't have been able to come out of that if I was doing other hard stuff. So that's what a lot of these content creators and all that glorify that life. They need to realize that the majority of people that are doing that aren't celebrities on podcasts. They're regular, everyday people experimenting in high school, because when you're 35, you don't have time for that, really. And if they are doing that, 9 times out of 10, it's a problem.
Pyramid, an Egyptian pyramid on the back of an American dollar bill. What does Anuit Coeptus mean? At Novas Ordo Seclorum, what are the Roman numerals behind on the bottom of the pyramid? Why are there 13 layers going up the pyramid? Why is there an eye inside the triangle? I'm glad you asked. Because there's one hell of a story sitting right in front of you and you didn't even see it. So, is this symbol evil or is it good? And what does it really mean? The eye and the triangle, the pyramid. And why is it on the dollar bill? We find that the eye and the pyramid is connected to Illuminati. God is enlightenment. So our word Illuminati or illumination. God is illumination. The eye represents illumination. The people who run this world from behind the scenes are many things, but stupid is not one of them. They are operating on a very high spiritual level, the people who run this world.
Bill Gates just shocked everyone after making a claim about climate change that no one expected. You see, yesterday he published a long essay titled 3 Tough Truths About Climate, in which he stated, as truth 1, that climate change will not lead to humanity's demise, and that people will be able to live and thrive in most places on Earth for the foreseeable future. In truth 2, he said that sometimes human welfare takes a backseat to lowering emissions with bad consequences, and that because of this, resources need to be shifted away from the battle against climate change and focused towards preventing disease and hunger because, quote, climate change is not the biggest threat to the lives and livelihoods of people in poor countries, and it won't be in the future. And as part of his third and final truth, he said that he wished that there was enough money to fund every climate change idea, but there isn't, and that up until this point, too much good money has been put into expensive and questionable efforts, ultimately claiming that money spent on health and prosperity is our best defense against climate change. But the reason this is so significant is because of the influence Bill Gates has in the climate sector. So when he makes recommendations like this, people in positions of power and the ability to do things tend to listen to him. So will this trigger a shift away from climate funding? Will this have an impact on how activists speak about climate change? Or will this ultimately just get brushed off and debunked?
I mean, it sounds like, I wonder how much funding, government funding, taxpayer dollars have gone towards this climate change, where they probably didn't even do nothing because they know he's been knowing that. So I wonder how much of our tax-paying dollars went towards climate change and how much of those people got rich off that. And nobody cares. Nobody asks questions. Just like, oh, that's good news. Awesome. We don't got to worry about climate change now. No shit.
I don't know who the other 10 people are. I know Julia Roberts has a pair. I know Madonna has a pair. I think Gwyneth Paltrow has a pair. And I know Elton told me he had a pair.
Why is the Amazon River so scary?
You guys may have already came across this clip as it's doing its rounds on TikTok right now, getting about 30 million views. And it's about a 20-second clip of a person flying over the Amazon River with a caption of POV you fly over the Amazon River. And there are so many comments in the video of people talking about how scary this is and how afraid they are of this river. So why does this river scare people so bad? Firstly, it's the size of this river. It's about 4,000 miles long, but the scary part is how wide it is. You see, on average, it is 4.5 miles wide, but during wet seasons, there's places that it can be up to 25 miles wide.
Damn.
But perhaps the scariest part of this river is what's in it. It can create up to 4-meter waves, and in certain places can create whirlpools, which are known to swallow boats. It's home to giant electric eels, absolutely huge anacondas, and way more deadly fish than I could ever even list. Pretty much just about everything in and around this river wants to hurt you.
The Federal Reserve just printed $13.5 billion to inject it into the economy, and they're going to print $40 billion every single month to help us out. All that means is dollar is going to lose its value, your paychecks are becoming less valuable, inflation is going to skyrocket, and the cost of goods is going to go up. And already we're seeing gold and silver reaching their all-time high throughout human history because the US dollar is losing its value. 2026 and 2027, we're going to see the wealth gap increase drastically. Once mass layoffs start happening, AI will start replacing jobs. This may be the last few years where you can actually accumulate wealth.
So all of this that has been excavated, all of this was under all of this volcanic ash.
Mm.
And modern Naples, up there,
Right on
built
top of it.
of it all.
Charlie Kirk built a megachurch, and he called it a student organization. Turning Point USA is the most insane new megachurch of the 2020s, and after spending 4 days at Kirkchella, you cannot convince me
Kirkchella.
otherwise. Charlie Kirk transformed from libertarian bro to prosperity gospel preacher in 4 years flat. We watched it happen in real time. He met one megachurch pastor who told him mixing Jesus with politics suddenly meant more power, less taxes, and suddenly Turning Point USA had 30 pastors on staff, monthly events at Dream City Church, and was recruiting kids on over 2,000 campuses with Democrats are demonic messaging. And then after his assassination, they were selling merch of what he wore when he died, and his widow is now running the show. And we all just kind of went with it. And I just, again, spent the last 4 days at Kirkchella, also known as Turning Point USA's America First Rally, or AmFest, or Loser Fest, depending on who you're asking. And you cannot convince me that that is not a megachurch. Turning Point USA is America's billionaire-fueled political megachurch.
She's loving it. Erica Kirk is loving the limelight.
In 2018, Kirk said separation of church and state was important. And then in 2022, Kirk called it a fabrication by secular humanists. Okay? And everyone kind of went with this like, this is fine. Your king, Charlie Kirk, had 30 pastors on payroll. Please spare me the free markets BS. And let's get right into it because this is wild. So 6 years ago, 6 years, Charlie Kirk was out there telling Dave Rubin that we need separation of church and state, and that Christians trying to impose their morality through government policy was, and I quote, turning people off. And he said Jesus was welcoming and tolerant, and he was basically your standard libertarian bro. So he happened to go to church sometimes, but it wasn't his like whole brand or identity. Fast forward to 2022, and suddenly separation of church and state is a fabrication and made up by secular humanists. Like, sir, what happened? Did someone slip something in your protein shake? Like, what happened was he met mega church pastor Rob McCoy in 2019. And McCoy whispered the magic words in his ear. You can have so much more power if you make this all about Jesus. And Kirk was like, oh shit, you're right. And like from a tax perspective,
See, what sucks is, I was feeling what she was saying until I saw her shirt. So she's pretty much saying his side's wrong, my side's right. Instead of being like, his side's wrong, this side's wrong, together, right? There's none of that. It's his side or my side, their side or my side. It's verse, verse, verse. And those are the people that get shot to the top, is the people that are so verse, verse, verse. His side versus my side. Those are the people that get the influence, get all this. And that's why nothing changes, y'all. It's like a broken record over here, right? It's like a broken record.
3 meals a day, please. That's not nature. That's Rockefeller marketing. Our ancestors didn't sit around with breakfast, lunch, and dinner neatly served. They ate once a day, sometimes 3 times a week. That was abundance. And you know what? They thrived. They were lean, sharp, and strong because the body is designed to function best in fasting. You ever wonder why you heal in your sleep? Because you're fasting. The body finally gets to stop wasting energy digesting junk and starts repairing, rebuilding, cleaning house. That's when the real work gets done. But you've been programmed. You think skipping breakfast is a crime. You think hunger is an emergency. No, it's power. Fasting activates cells that act like little soldiers. They march straight to the damage, clean it out, rebuild you stronger. That's real medicine. And yet the white coat will tell you to eat regularly. Why? Because the system isn't built for your health, it's built for your dependence. Rockefeller didn't give you 3 meals to nourish you. He gave you 3 meals to chain you, to keep you tired, inflamed, obedient.
Of course Michael Jackson was innocent, and I'm certain he was murdered. Why? Because everything the media says is a lie, and because it follows the same pattern as any other major figure that went against the Zionist-controlled entertainment industry. First, the fake media demonizes you, then the sexual abuse cases comes in, and if you can't be bought off, they end up killing you, making it look like an accident. And Michael became pretty powerful after he purchased the Beatles catalog and owned half of Sony Music, which, by the way, Sony bought back after he died.
I own half of Sony's publishing, and they're very angry at me.
Also, I don't think they like that he walked around in a like uniform and that one of his biggest songs had the words he knew who ran the show and he wasn't going along, so he got greenlit, and it was a big loss for the world, but it's one more step towards a greater awakening. By the way, Kanye is not crazy,
and Tommy Mottola is a devil. Tommy, what has become of my life? Children will love me.
It's a Christmas miracle. So you know the modern day Noah had been building arks and collecting money from all these people. By the way, hundreds of thousands which are on the way to get to his ark because they believe the world's going to be flooded this Christmas. Y'all just wait for the crazy part and for the miracle, because this is wild. So yesterday he bought a $90,000 Mercedes-Benz, right? With the donation money he's been getting from all his followers because this crazy flood's coming. Maybe we're ignorant. Maybe Mercedes float. I don't know. Look, I really want everyone to understand. His followers were selling everything they owned to give him money to pay for these arks and build these arks to save them all from the floods. And so after buying that car and having all those people come out, he made the schedule you just saw for if the flood didn't happen where they could all party. Then guess what happened? He had a revelation, another prophecy from God. God is now stopping the flood because he was seeking him earnestly. He said God stopped the flood so they could have more time to seek salvation. Hold on 1 second, it gets crazier.
Still, I'm a catcher, say your friend Epo Noah. God reveals to redeem. I have prayed, I have fasted, I have donated, and I have built.
The ark couldn't contain them, so God's gonna stop this flood. The craziest part about all this, California is having Christmas floods as we speak. And also South Africa has fire warnings and massive fires coming up everywhere. And there is just a mosque explosion in Nigeria. 2 things. Where's the accountability? The dude literally got rich off y'all. Second, if y'all would have read the Bible by yourself, you wouldn't have even fallen for this.
And celebrated all these birthdays, all these holidays, back to back, Christmas every year, Thanksgiving every year. It's draining your pocket every year. You're never happy after of it, but you keep on doing it. Thanksgiving. Listen, why the fuck you keep on doing it? It ain't never made you happy. Everybody like, man, Christmas coming up. I gotta buy this shit for this. Gotta get this for this kids. It don't make nobody happy, but everybody's still doing it. Well, listen, nobody, listen, I'm just saying, I'm not going to do things that make me unhappy. That's why you get that bad feeling before you buy everybody a gift. Do they deserve it? Because you're not supposed to do it. With a thing called a compass to tell you what to do and don't, but you keep going against it. You keep going against it for people. They tell you it's a Christmas, so you feel like you got to buy shit. They tell you it's a Valentine's Day, you feel like it's time to love. They tell you it's a Mother's Day, you where your mama at, right? They are tricking you and pulling you on the string and telling you what to do. Stop playing with me.
He went down there and
he went down. My friend Mike, Jesse Michaels, went down there and actually touched them. That was the first video. He was in the room while they were doing the scans. He said it's so strange. He said it feels so surreal because it's so obvious that it was a real living thing.
I don't understand how that's not like the lead story in the news sometimes.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. And meanwhile, they're arguing over everything.
Yeah.
Everything else. Everything, whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah.
Can you believe what's going on with Turning Point USA? They found aliens.
I know.
They found alien bodies. Like if you ever wanted alien bodies, show me a body. That's an alien body.
Yeah.
At the very least, it's not us. So maybe it's from here and went extinct, or maybe it's in the ocean.
Or the congressional testimony of like high level whistleblowers being like, we have these whatever, this ship, whatever you want to call it, and then it's like in a congressional testimony, everyone's like, that's cool.
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
Yeah, everybody's like TikToking.
But it was funny.
Can you believe Nicki Minaj was on stage at the TPUSA?
It's crazy. It's really crazy to me.
Yeah.
The Denver airport was
if you've never heard of it, it's GOOGLE.com.
You've got the majority of, so for people out there who don't know, right, you can Google it. Google is a wonderful thing. You should check it out. The Denver airport was
if you've never heard of it, it's GOOGLE.com.
Google it and you'll find pretty much the first thing you're going to see is Denver airport, and it's going to be a bunch of these semi-satanic images that you'll find, in addition to the fact that the whole airport is laid out on what would have maybe been called at one time ley lines, which is a whole...
Well, yeah, that's my understanding, is that there's an entire underground area of like tunnels that are all connected, like bunkers.
So there is verifiable. It's just like Disney. There's all kinds of underground tunnels there, and those tunnels lead to areas of the airport that would not be accessible normally by other people. The biggest theory, I think, associated with this is that those tunnels lead further down than anybody anticipates, like an underground bunker.
They're like silos essentially for the uber
I love
wealthy.
that show. So it's very possible that there are. It could be a very wealthy person's doomsday style bunker. The real freaking problem with all that is that if there is a catastrophe like that, there's nothing that we have that would elongate even the wealthiest of people, unless you're going to, plug them into a battery or something like that. Being underground is not long-term sustainable.
There's technology that we're privy to.
But you can imagine, even if you could imagine the technology that would be required for that, it would have to be a lot. It would have to be a lot, and you'd have to. How do you get fresh air in? You can't even recycle enough air if there's that many people down there. It's just like,
it's not that many people.
Statistically, it seems
it's like the 1% of 1% of 1%.
Whatever hot chick he's married to,
and also somebody else that we will not mention.
The Denver Broncos, Scott. The airport is fascinating because it's gone through. It took them forever to build it to begin with. It was like a 20-year project.
And then, my biggest thing is just the horse that has the glowing eye.
The guy that created that died.
Suspicious.
His son had to finish the horse.
Leo, just look up like top 10 conspiracies about Denver airport, and you'll probably get everything. We could probably talk about it for another hour.
Okay. Took them 20 years to build the airport, but took them what? Make it make sense, dude, say about the Empire State Building and all these other things, like 2 years to build the Empire State Building. But takes them 20 years to build an airport.
It's actually wild. I have a book here from the 1800s. They don't make it anymore. This is Dr. Chase's combination receipt book. Super strange. Medical, domestic science, law, and business. This is like a freaking encyclopedia. And it has what we never see books have today. It has some artwork on the side. But I opened it to a random page, which I have marked with this paper. And you are not going to believe what it's saying. This applies to all of us if you live in a house. So, fresh air. There should be plenty of fresh air in your house. Air is a mixture of oxygen and nitrogen. The nitrogen serves to dilute the oxygen, which alone would be too stimulating. And they do word things a little bit funny here because it's from so long ago. But listen to this. In breathing, the oxygen is absorbed by the blood and the carbonic acid thrown off. Carbonic acid is a poisonous gas, so you see that a person in breathing gradually poisons the air. An average man gives off a little more than half a cubic foot of carbonic acid gas in an hour when he is asleep, and nearly 3 times as much when he is hard at work. Women and children give off rather less. It takes very little of this, about 2 parts in 10,000, to make the air unwholesome, or as you would say, close, like just bad, toxic. Now you see how necessary ventilation is. In summer, it's very easily accomplished, as the open doors and windows give all the fresh air necessary. But in winter, it is more difficult. There should be at least 1,000 cubic feet of air for each person, and the ventilation should be enough to change all the air in the room 3 times an hour. Now, notice that today there's all the main focus that they're doing is making homes airtight, making them super energy efficient. It's a scam. So look, how can you accomplish this? It is done partly by the heating. If your house is heated by a hot air furnace, there is or should be a cold air box so that fresh air outside is heated and forced into the room. The foul warm air escapes through various cracks around the windows and doors if there is no special passage for it. So you need to be replacing the air in your home. As I'm recording this, the window behind me is open. It is winter, and the fire is freaking roaring. What word am I thinking of? Roaring, and that is a TV behind me playing a fire as well. So I have double fire. No, I'm just kidding. But seriously, this is shocking. You need to replace the air in your home. People have their windows cooped up, closed up, and they have synthetic fragrances polluting their air, their home's air. And they also have, well, let's just say it's very unfortunate how many people have all kinds of products that are off-gassing at all times. Conventional couches, a conventional bed emits or is coated with flame retardant chemicals, which off-gas for years. We need to be replacing the air in our homes more than ever before because of these chemicals and because we off-gas. I mean, you got to just replace the air, man.
Did you ever? You know, it's crazy. I don't know if this is a Texas thing because it's not like this in Arizona. I live in a 2-story, right? So upstory, I understand, you know, windows have to open, right? You never know if there's a fire blocking you down. You can't get downstairs. You got to get out the window upstairs, right? But downstairs, you can't open the windows. Can't. I can't open my window because it's a nice day out downstairs. That's what's so crazy. In Arizona, we always had our windows open, you know, at times like this when it's 70 degrees out. Like we had Christmas here, Christmas Eve, and it was kind of stuffy downstairs because we had the oven on and whatnot. And I was like, man, I wish we can open these windows just to get some air circulating. But I don't know if that's a Texas thing. I don't know if that's just where I'm at. Or is it a 2-story thing? This is a first 2-story house I ever owned, and it will be the last. My recommendation to anybody, especially with the newborn, right? 2 stories was the worst decision I ever made. I will never own another 2-story in my life, y'all. So many times, I forgot this upstairs. I got to go upstairs, y'all. But anyways, it's just weird that you can't open the windows downstairs, right? I'm planning on moving within a year or 2, so I'm not going to really worry about, you know, getting new windows so I can open them. But, you know, there's little things to look for at the next house, y'all, that I learned at this house.
Really rich and powerful people go inside this building.
You want to know who I saw going in there? Everyone you've heard about.
What do you think actually happened inside of this home?
All the terrible things you could think about before we knew what was going on. Just young girls. I mean, young.
How old were the girls that you saw go in?
Well, because they were coming from schools. They were coming from public schools.
Really?
So they were high school age.
Wow, so you saw a bunch of high schoolers going inside.
Well, you could tell. I always come this way home.
Guys, this whole case from start to where we're up to now, it's like the whole dangling a carrot on a piece of string thing. They literally give us dribs and drabs. Just look at the photos that have recently come out. They're suggestive, but in the grand scheme of things, who did he incriminate? And in the grand scheme of things, what does it push towards justice? I'll be honest, I don't think there's ever going to be any retribution for the things that happened at that island. Not in this life, anyway.
There's so many demons in Call of Duty. Going viral on TikTok because some guy is going on top of cars.
Yeah.
And you know how like there's explosions on the cars?
Mhm.
Those explosions make demonic faces, Carlos.
Oh, they make like images?
Yes, first,
His
so
name's Carlos?
322 Skull and Bones.
Mhm.
And then, so there's 15, 6 on like a thing. So
Yeah,
again,
yeah.
36, 36, 66. Hold on. Wait until he gets to the cars. There.
Oh,
On top of the cars.
I
And
see
there's
what you're
more.
saying. I see what you're
Yeah,
saying.
there's more on that. What do you call this? 64 squares. Look, it says A64. for the Masonic symbol, a demon on the wall because it's like fire.
Mm.
But yo, there's so much, and this is a kid's game, fam.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All-seeing eye carpet. What the fuck? Come on, bro.
And in I think in Black Ops 2.
Yeah.
Black Ops 2, that map everyone played on. It was like a mall.
Yes.
Yeah, they have a logo, and in that logo of the mall is the symbol for the PDF files, fam.
Yes.
Because that's like that's code.
Because oftentimes we hear about conspiracy theories, people talk about the ice wall. It's been documented that there is a massive hole in Antarctica. It's been documented that the poles of our planet are in an octagonal shape, just like in beehives. They say nature doesn't build in straight lines. Bees build octagonal combs. How do they know to do this? At the end of the day, every tribe on this planet that's indigenous, they all speak of people who came from under the ground to teach them things. All throughout history, there are different settlements where there were underground cities where human beings lived. Why were they underground?
Recently, there's a lady who famously claimed, and she's done the rounds. She's been on Danny Jones. She's been on Sean Ryan. I think she did Joe Rogan recently. I'll ask Venal to find it. She talks about how 23 trillion has been spent. There's a specific group of the elite who are trying to build an escape civilization, and it's been happening for years. What's that?
See, it's crazy. Like this dude, like not worshiping, but looking at the people that come from underground as, you know, gods and whatnot, like ancestors and whatnot. But those people that came from underground, if history repeats itself, we're seeing are the people we hate, the rich, the powerful, the elite, the Illuminati, right? Those are the people that the rich and powerful go underground and they come out with the knowledge because, you know, look at our knowledge we have now. They come out and teach the people that survive that, you know, whatever, they teach them like, oh, this is how you make fire. You got to cook your meat. You got to, you know, bathe. You got to do these things. You use this to make this type of medicine so you don't have headaches, whatever. But those people look at them as like God and ancestors, but really they're the people we hate. You know what I mean? It just keeps going on. And those are the people that rise up and they probably got a Bible and start reading, you know, history repeats itself, y'all. Like if that, look where we're trending, like all these celebrities making underground bunkers, like that lady exposing 23 trillion taxpayer dollar. That's where our taxpaying dollars are going. They're going to their breakaway civilization. And guess what? When it happens, we're not invited, even though we paid for it.
Oh, the FBI is now reporting that there's over 500 truck driver serial killers that run on the road of I-40, and that's where most of the killings happen. Tell me more! Yeah, this has been going on for quite some time, but listen up. If you're driving on the I-40, you need to be super careful. Now listen, there are over 500 truck driver serial killers that have been reported. They think there's more, but there's been over 1,000 women plus being reported as being unalived that were on the I-40 and had stopped somewhere and then were taken and then were tortured for numerous hours until these truck driver serial killers decided to go ahead and unalive them. Okay. The FBI is wanting this to be known right now because, of course, the holiday season's coming up. That means a lot of traveling, and that also means a lot of unalivings. Oh, goody.
So here's Madonna's tattoo, which is the Kabbalah tree, and here's David Bowie, also drawing the Kabbalah tree. You know, everyone says this is evil, but they don't understand. They're ignorant. See, the elites purposely tell you these things and present these things as evil so you do not do your research on them. Why? Because the Kabbalah gives you power when you study it. It's basically a blueprint of how consciousness comes down to form and solidify into a physical reality. And they keep you in the illusion that this is all evil because they only want you in Malkuth, which represents physical five senses thinking. Most people's mind only operate in their body. So the Kabbalah teaches you to use these higher energies from the higher forms of the tree, the higher dimensions of consciousness, so you can bring things down into the material plane and become a conscious co-creator with God, because God did not create the world thousands of years ago. That's what religion teaches you. God is creating the world in the present moment, just like you are thinking your reality and the world into existence in the present moment. That's why it's called a present. It's your gift of creation. So everything they've told you is all inverted, and they study all of this. And the Book of Symbolism will teach all of this. The Book of Symbolism releases November 17th.
So y'all, let's talk about CCTV. Some of you are superstars, and they orchestrated certain things in your life to make it entertaining, so people can watch you off of the dark web. That's why they gang stalked you and made you feel scared and put all these abusive people up to you so they can watch, because you were the entertainment. See, your family signed contracts. You were the cash cow for CCTV. Have you ever noticed every time you moved, the gift would be a new TV, a smart TV, because you were chosen. They thought that light rays were gonna come out your head, or you're gonna move something with your mind, and they wanted to watch it. They were so jealous you were chosen. They wanted to watch you get beat down while they orchestrated your life. CCTV is real. The dark web is real. And guess what? Karma's here. 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you.
You ever wonder why state parks and national parks everywhere? Well, you ever wonder why the state parks is really just woods? Nobody think about that? Why is it a state park? They got little paths in it. That's where they hide in the pyramids. All the ancient pyramids. Then you go over to Africa, the motherland. Huh? Go over to Africa and look at the little 3-4 pyramids they got over there. Oh my God, look at that. Let's take pictures and videos. That ain't nothing. America's covered with them pyramids. But guess what? They hid it in the state parks and the national parks.
Yeah, off limits.
That's why the state park is there. And you can't go in them like that. The security don't even go that deep in them. Let them go 5, 10, 20, 30 miles into the park, which they never do. And what you think they're going to see? A pyramid? A temple? Yeah.
All right, family, there you have it, a banger, an hour and 12 minutes. Boy, we did a lot of chit-chatting today. I hope you guys are okay with that. If you made it this far, y'all know what to do. I ain't even gonna say it no more. Y'all know what to do. You know, you got to. If you made it this far, it's already done, right? But anyways, y'all, get out of here. It's early. Woke up at 5 o'clock. I got to start getting on the grind, setting a routine since Mama Bear's home. You know, I got to start setting a routine. Wake up at 5. I enjoyed having my coffee, my morning coffee with you guys. I felt like it put me in the zone. That's why I was talking so much. So, you know, I hope you guys don't think I talked too much today, y'all. But, you know, I'm going to get out here and do my second channel. Anybody interested, it's going to pop up over here. Segovia Reacts 2.0. Be sure to click that. Go over there, subscribe, check out my content over there. Y'all, we're doing TikToks over there as well, but not these type of TikToks. Like today's video is going to be on people's worst financial decision, right, they've ever made. If you guys are interested, I'm gonna be sharing my worst financial decision. Set me back some money. I'll be letting you guys know over there if you guys are interested. If not, there's gonna be a playlist that pops up over here. Yeah, I'm gonna get over there, get to reacting. This is Segovia signing out of the man cave. I'll see you guys on the next one. Later.